It's good to just breathe sometimes, don't you think?
Yes, especially if you can lean against a really big fluffy cow and breathe slow and easy and relax a little bit.
I was looking up cow-based businesses, and there aren't as many as there used to be. Like, you can't. Cowboy is pretty low on the list now. There's not as many. There's just a few.
Well, I am really excited about today. We're going to get to talk to the people from the founder of the Gentle Barn, which is a place, just what it sounds like. It's a gentle barn where they do cow hugging therapy. This is an alternative form of therapy, and it involves hugging cows.
Animal rescue. They're not like these cows aren't in the middle, like, providing food.
What do you think the cow would be doing exactly? Like pursuing a competitive surfing career or something? But anyway, yeah.
Very, very busy
These
cows.
are all rescue animals. So it's an amazing story all around.
So Ellie Laks is with us. Let's get in.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gorgone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show.
I have so many questions about this, but first, look who's here.
Hey, it's my biological father, Steve Brogan, his wife, Diane.
Your mother, also known as your mother.
Hey, I'm heading over there. I'm going to go and visit them sometime soon, so.
You should go cow hugging.
Let's go vacuum that guest room. Hey, maybe if we swing out to LA, we'll do some cow hugging. Hey, want to hug a duck? You could get your own cool video
you
show.
You can. Like well, there's a whole list of animals you can hug.
Oh, you can't hug a duck?
No, I'm saying there's a whole list. I mean, I don't know if ducks are on the list. Like, I'm not the expert. Ellie is the expert. But all I know is it would make a great video show to go to the Gentle Barn and hug a bunch of animals. Right. Somebody do that. cbrogan.me/StreamYard.
Make something. Hey, want an audio podcast? You can.
Doesn't probably sound as exciting.
What, animal hugging?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you do. People do talk to them.
Sure.
No, they do.
Castos.com. Hey, do you ever want to look up the names of farm animals? You can. Go to presearch.com. You can stick it to the man.
What sound does a doggy make? Presearch, an alternative search engine. It works really, really well. Chris was using it without even getting the crypto rewards for like a month and a half because he forgot to log in.
We're always going to tell people that. Hey, want a .online domain? You can have one, babies. Go to cbrogan.me/online. You can get a .online domain for $1.
Use the code Chris in all caps.
So before we bring Ellie Laks out here, a lot of people.
Your shirt.
Oh, thank you, Mom. It's a Batman shirt.
Love it.
There he is.
Batman shirt for Batman.
The Robert Pattinson Batman, which is coming out very soon.
Hello.
No cows were harmed during the making of Batman.
Oh, Kate's excited about cow hugging.
Yeah.
Joseph Jaffe. Joseph Jaffe is not famous. Says it's a great day when the backpack is packing. Hey, cow hugging. Any day is a good day for cow hugging.
So good day. All right, let's get it all in here. Let's bring our friend Ellie in and talk a little bit about this.
My kids are so excited about this.
Ellie Laks, welcome to the Backpack Show.
Thanks for having me.
Who does this? Like it's one thing to rescue animals. It's one thing to kind of like just, stick them out in the backyard and make sure they're fed for the rest of their life. But you said, I want to add a dynamic to this where I make humans interact with them. Because I'll have to add some insurance waivers and I'll have to do a lot of extra hard work. Like, what was the thinking there? And did you know what you were getting into when you set it up?
Well, it all was dreamed of when I was 7 years old. When I was 7 years old, I would tell people that when I grew up, I was going to have a big place full of animals. I was going to show the world how beautiful they are, and all the lonely people of the world will come and heal with us. And so as a child, I had a very firsthand knowing of how healing and saving animals were, because they were always the ones that I cried to, that made me feel better, and that urged me to keep going. And so it was just this fantasy that I was going to be able to save animals and partner with them to heal people.
And you would talk to them even like as a child. I had a cat growing up. It was my brother's cat. He was always bringing home really large dogs. And he finally got the message that my dad was not going to let that stand. So he brought home a cat. And anyway, the cat would, if I was upset, let me like snuggle up against his chest. And teenage girls are always upset. So it was a lot of snuggling.
So every teenager needs a cat.
Yes.
Or a cow.
That's what it amounts to. That's what I came to conclude. I didn't make a business out of it, though. Like, I didn't turn it into a nonprofit.
But you're doing that with cows. So like, how does that happen? Like how did you learn that cows maybe would be okay to hug?
So almost 23 years ago, I rescued my very first cow, and she was beautiful. She was this little red cow with a white face, beautiful teddy bear ears, and she would lay down at the end of the day. And I was exhausted from having to try to figure out how to launch this new nonprofit. And so I would lean against her at the end of the day just to kind of take a minute. And I would lean against her, and she would wrap her neck around me and hold me in a giant cow hug. And it would wash away the day. It would make me feel strong and full of hope. And I was like, everyone in the world needs this. I have to give this to everybody. And so every single person from then on that came into the doors of the Gentle Barn would be ushered over to the cows for a beautiful, beautiful cow hug. And if it was people that just needed a good cow hug, it made them happy. If it was teenagers that were very kind of shut down and hardened and angry, that cow hug would soften their face. And if it was people that were in real crisis, like from foster agencies or drug and alcohol rehab centers or probation camps, those cows would give them unconditional love, probably for the first time in their lives.
It's not just cows though, right? There's other animals too.
Yeah, so at the Gentle Barn, we are home to horses, cows, pigs, sheep, goats, chickens, turkeys, peacocks, llamas, dogs, cats, donkeys, and an emu.
No scorpions, no cobras. I listened for it. Just thinking of which animals maybe aren't invited.
Aren't invited.
So I want to show off a couple of your creatures, by the way, just for a second or two. And I found these hooligans playing out here. Let's see if I can wait. I thought I had a share all set up.
You did.
Well, let me tell you something.
Took it away. Oh.
So that's Lewis. And who's Lewis playing with there?
That's our dog Sky.
Oh my
and they're pushing
goodness.
around a live hedgehog that is not faring so well, right?
No, it's a toy.
Oh, it's a toy.
You can tell we're city folk.
I was just getting bullied. I don't know. Some of the animals do fine at this farm.
Oh, so they're
So-
friends. That's like their little friend. That's so sweet.
The way Lewis is playing is sort of like the way a dog would play. Do you think Lewis is picking this up from Sky?
Honestly, the experience of raising Lewis and Sky together, they're both puppy dogs. They played, they ran around together, they wrestled. It was literally like having two puppy dogs.
Wow.
Oh, so sweet.
Super fun. With regards to you named 64 other animals and I didn't pay attention. Emu, I think, came to mind.
Yeah.
Are there any that now that you've done this a little bit, you wouldn't mind throwing it back over the fence?
No,
There's
they're all.
gonna be kind of like an asshole one, right? I don't know, you're just come on, just be like these other ones.
This is because we're from Boston. So what Chris is asking is, are there Massachusetts cows?
Right.
You know what? Not cows, but we did have a peacock that would like to karate chop people.
Okay.
And we loved him, but he was his own little kind of peacock. And he liked the female volunteers, but we did have a male volunteer, and he would chase this male volunteer to his car and then chase the car down the driveway. So
Wow.
Yeah.
And for some teenager in crisis, that was their spirit animal.
yeah.
Might have been
So
a great
unfortunate.
choice. What makes for a good volunteer, by the way? Because I think everyone thinks they want to volunteer, but there's mucking and there's feed and there's all kinds of cleaning and raking and all that sort of a thing.
I think that volunteering at the Gentle Barn is probably the best volunteer gig on the planet, because we actually don't make our volunteers muck up poop. We have staff that does the feeding, watering, grooming, and cleaning. And then the volunteers get to come in and just fill the animals up with love. They get to rub the pigs' bellies, hold the chickens, cuddle the turkeys. They get to sleep with some animals. When we rescue orphan animals, the volunteers get to come with their sleeping bags and cots and actually sleep with the orphan animals to give them something to live for. So our volunteers just breathe the life back into the animals. It's a really good gig.
So you're a volunteer snuggler.
Yes.
Kate thinks I'm blushing. I just I'm excited about cowing. I don't know.
There's a lot of
Love
fun things to learn
animals.
about at the Gentle Barn.
Yeah.
So in sort of that vein though, and thinking about this, you're trying to push, you're advocating for a whole different lifestyle to go with this as well. You're trying to make sure people understand that there's a little bit more to this than it's nice to hug a cow. How does advocacy work, and how do you keep that sort of soft touch so that people feel like they're really, willing to absorb it in?
Yeah. So, when I was 11 years old, I met a chicken, and I had always loved animals my whole life. And I think most of us would identify ourselves as animal lovers, but I had no idea who I was eating. I just ate what I was told, and I loved animals. And when I was 11 years old, I met a chicken. And for the first time in my life, it dawned on me that that was chicken and rice. And so I went home that day and I told my parents I would never eat animals again. And so that's really the heart and soul of why the Gentle Barn exists, is to allow people. I mean, look, we live in cities, right? Farm animals don't live in our neighborhoods anymore. And so we're losing that connection to nature and animals. And so we invite people to come in, look these animals in the eyes, hug the cows, cuddle the turkeys, see their intelligence and affections, and realize that they're much more than a meal, and to very, very gently, softly, and kindly evolve to a plant-based diet. But we do it very gently.
All right. So I just saw these videos with Jay in them. Did he know what he was signing up for in any sense of the word at this whole thing?
Oh my God. If you talk to Jay now, which is 20 years later after he came, Jay came in as a volunteer, and he started volunteering more and more. And then a year later, we fell in love, and now we run the Gentle Barn together. I think in the beginning, it was like all so shiny and new and exciting, but this guy, he has worked so hard. I think if you would ask him now if he knew what he was signing up for, he'd probably say no.
No. And go ahead, Kerry.
We had a few comments coming in.
Let's do it.
Kate's excited about not mucking up poop. She's down for that. Your dad says, Becky McRae took us to visit her rescue cows, including Bubba, who liked to lick our hands and kind of swallow our hands. He was wonderfully calming. Chloe was chased by a peacock when she was 5. She's still not over it. She went out to come to the Gentle Barn. And now Carol's got that mental picture stuck in her head. Okay, we're caught up.
I love Kate. When I was 11, I met a chicken. That'd be a great
I met a
title.
chicken. It does sound like, you went to school and then a chicken enrolled the same day from a different school and you had to show them around. Like, that is what it sounds like.
So do you and Jay have conversations like Selma Hayek ends up getting into, where she's like, her husband's like, no, like, she calls him,
no
she's
more
like,
animals,
honey, and he's like, no. So do you have those conversations where you found, I don't know, a sea turtle or something, and he's like, I don't think we have a spot for that right now? Do you have these kind of negotiation moments?
Honestly, that I had those conversations with my first husband. That's how I lost my first husband. When I
started mirror these animals.
Pretty much, I had just started the Gentle Barn, and I really, really wanted to rescue my first cow, who taught me about cow hugs. And he said no. He said, it's the cow or me. So I had the cow for 13 and a half years.
You were like.
So Jay is very, very supportive. He's my second husband. He came in as a volunteer. He loves the Gentle Barn. And he's the one that goes all over the country saving animals from the absolute darkest places on earth and brings them back to me to heal. So
how do you find them? How does he find them? Like, does someone tip you off, or like how do you identify the animals that need rescuing and are a good fit for the Gentle Barn?
People call us, but we're also partnered with the police department, with other rescues, with undercover agencies. And Jay is really, really great at developing relationships at stockyards, auction houses, and slaughterhouses. So he can actually go into those places and pull animals out.
Oh, you're muted, Chris.
Wow.
And I didn't do it.
Speaking of undercover agencies and stuff like that, that turkey on the left is actually a human. There's a lot of that going on.
You said you'd never tell.
Oh,
he lies.
To get the shot, I have to do what I have to do.
Do people just hug the animals as part of the therapy, or do they like talk to them? Are you involved with it at all, or do they go by themselves? Like, how does it actually work? What does it look like?
So first of all, I'll start by saying that at the Gentle Barn, we're open to the public every Sunday from 10 to 2. And we also host field trips, private tours, and birthday parties during the week. So people can come in just as part of any of those programs and get the rich healing and love and interaction with all of these beautiful, beautiful animals. But the cow hug therapy sessions are specifically hour-long sessions for people that are hurting one way or the other, or just someone that needs to connect and needs a good hug. And they can come in, and what I tell them when they enter the cow barn is I tell them, this session is everything that you need it to be. If you want to talk to me, ask me questions, I am all yours. If you want to just sit in the solitary silence of the barnyard, meditate and hug the cows are all yours. So I tell the people that I'll just follow their lead and they can get out of that experience whatever they need to get.
So you have this location in Los Angeles, and you also have one out in Nashville. And so I was going to point out the fact that not only do you have one out in Nashville, but somehow Richard Marx stopped by to sing.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Oh my God. Well, Richard and his wife, Daisy Fuentes, are just really, really good to us and big supporters of the Gentle Barn. And of course, Richard Marx's music raised me, right? I grew up to all of his songs. So to have him at our grand opening of our Nashville location was a huge honor.
Was he waiting for you when you got there?
Yes.
Right there?
Richard Marx. Or did you mean the peacock? Because that guy was going after everybody.
No, I'm just doing song lyrics. So Daisy Fuentes, God bless her. MTV's Daisy Fuentes, for those of us who are of a certain age.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and she's such a lovely person. They both are. They're just amazing people. Animal lovers, really great people.
It's gonna be kind of rare to find a jerk ass animal lover, I guess, though, right? Like that's not very common. I suppose probably militant animal lovers would be as close to
I
that
could
as you
see
get.
people. No, I could see people who love animals that don't think people are great. Like
Yeah.
they might seem
Oh,
like
well,
jerks
sure.
because they don't like people.
That's true.
You're from Boston. You should understand that.
Oh, believe me, everybody's a jerk. All right. So look, I was strumming through your YouTubes a bunch. There's a lot of turkeys in there too. Is that sort of like, cows then turkeys or something? Like, do you have favorites? You must.
You want in the order of huggability, or
I don't know. She's really spends a lot of time with turkeys. I'm telling you.
You know what? I think of all the animals that we have at the Gentle Barn, the cows and the turkeys are the most surprising because people see cows and turkeys typically as either food or dumb or unintelligent, unapproachable. And then all of a sudden they come to the Gentle Barn and they can hug the cows and the cows hug them back, and they can cuddle the turkeys and the turkeys fall asleep in their laps. And both those animals are prone to bring people to tears. It's amazing. I like to say that we have not lived life till we've hugged a cow and cuddled a turkey. That's my motto.
do you ever blow dry the cows? Because they're so cute when they're all fluffy.
No,
They're
I have
so
seen that though, but no.
Oh, gosh.
Well,
I
can I
just started
request that?
realizing-
Can I blow dry one for my therapy session? Just have it wet. It's fine. Like I'll show up with my blow dryer.
I'm gonna have
Slap
to. I'm gonna have to reshare this screen because the
Okay, fussy.
stupid thing doesn't want me to be its friend today. But
Well, you need a cow hug.
I wanted to look at your swag at your store.
Oh,
That's
nice.
what I wanted to do. So there's a book, of course. So we need to talk a little bit about that. But then there's also like shirts from John Lewis. There's some sweets here. There's what I hope is food there. It's a vegan chocolate peanut butter pillow. So first off, vegan food, of course. I'm presuming vegan fabric as well. How's this going for you? Do you find a lot of people kind of want to bring their experience home with them with an accessory?
Yes, and it's wonderful because people can shop online or shop at any of our Gentle Barn locations. And yes, they want to bring the experience home with them, share it with their friends. And of course, everything goes to supporting the organization and enabling us to save more animals. So it's a win-win.
Annette wants to know if either of us are going to go to the Gentle Barn. I for real am. I'm going to go to the Gentle Barn. And I'm
There's
going
one
to
in Nashville, right
my
down the street.
kids.
Right?
Yes. I'm going to take my kids to the Gentle Barn.
At our Nashville location, we have a cow named Maybelle who gives the absolute best hugs. And we have a goat named Lolly or Lollipop who walks in a wheelchair, and she's like a magical fairy princess. And just to look at her will make you smile. You're going to love that location.
So excited. I mean, I doubt that there's one that people will be like, well, this sucks.
Okay, that's true. Really great.
But Nashville's extra
bug?
good. Yeah. Do you have plans for expansion, or are you happy where you are? Like, how's that go? Like, when do you decide it's time for another gentle barn, and how does that go? Like the process of doing it?
Okay, so up until now, we have opened other locations because it like happened to us. We didn't make it happen. Like we came to Nashville, Tennessee because there was a cow who lost a foot and nobody would save him, and the lady was like desperately asking for advice, and we ended up saving him, giving him a prosthetic foot, and opening a gentle barn for him. And we opened the St. Louis location because there were a band of cows that escaped a slaughterhouse and were running through the streets of St. Louis. They ended up getting caught and sent back to the slaughterhouse, and everyone in the community was like, they have to live. And then everyone kept calling us, and we ended up going and saving their lives and opening a gentle barn for them. So up until now, it's kind of unfolded on its own. But if I actually had a choice, I would really like to open a gentle barn in New York.
You think they could use a hug?
I think they need a really good hug. And actually, my motto is go big and go home, right? So I actually want a gentle barn right in the middle of Central Park. And I want to be right in the heart of Manhattan. I want to work with people who are affected by drugs or homelessness or just the underserved population. Like I just want to be in the heart of the city. So that is my dream for next.
Leslie says, I have lots of turkeys that walk through my yard on a daily basis, and not one has offered a hug. How disappointing. You know, Leslie, you didn't offer a hug either. So
start feeding them. That's how it starts.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, so it's like dating. You didn't say.
It's exactly like dating. You got to feed them. You got to sing to them. You got to
laugh at their jokes.
Romance. Then when they really, really like you, then they'll sit in your lap and fall asleep.
Now, what about, so during the pandemic, everybody stayed home from everything. What was going on with you then? Did you have to have volunteers come in and hug the cows because no one was coming? Or did people actually come, start to come more because it's really depressing to be on lockdown for COVID?
Yeah, so we were shut down for a year and a half. For the first time in 22 years. So the place was like a ghost town and it was really crazy. We had a very few of our volunteers come, but only one at a time. So there was only like one volunteer in the whole barnyard. So she wasn't exposed to anyone else. And simultaneously, people were sending their animals to slaughter because everybody was kind of panicking. And so we actually had way more rescues come in with pretty much none of the volunteer help. And so we actually worked harder during the pandemic than we ever had before, because the cows that you're showing right now, they came in during the pandemic, and me, myself alone had to sit and try to breathe the life back into them and save them and heal them. And I would work like 16-hour days until they were healthy. So we were working really hard during the pandemic.
You wouldn't know that from that video, though. You have extra energy in that video that isn't even in some of the other ones. You look like,
yeah, you look like you're good for another 16 hours. Like,
I think when we're living on purpose, it makes us feel more alive than ever. And doing those rescues and breathing the life back into those animals made me feel amazing through the pandemic. So
Carol says the way to a turkey's heart is through its stomach.
I mean, isn't that true for all of us?
Yeah,
it's
so.
true for me.
Leslie says I'll have to make the first move.
Yes.
I think you will.
Yeah.
What do turkeys eat, and what do your animals eat?
Turkeys in the wild would forage for bugs and seeds and flowers and grasses. But here at the Gentle Barn, we feed them poultry feed, but we also give them a huge array of organic fruits and vegetables every single day, as well as the pigs. The pigs and the birds all get lots of organic fruits and vegetables. The horses, cows, donkeys, goats, sheep, and llamas get organic hay. I guess that's everybody. Yeah.
That's everybody. What do you eat?
What's Jay eat? I was thinking the same thing.
Pretty much organic fruits and vegetables too. We all just get together with the animals and have broccoli parties and watermelon parties.
Annette says heading to St. Louis this month. Great. There's a Gentle Barn there. In DC, they could use one there too. And Annette says, what a great quote about living on purpose and the energy you exude.
Is that what I'm going to find if I read the Gentle Barn book, or am I going to find like the accounting of sort of what went on, or what's in your book?
My book starts the very first chapter about my childhood and how animals healed me and urged me to stay in a world where I didn't really want to stay here. All the things that were going on in my childhood and how animals saved me. And it's how I started that dream as a very young child about wanting to dedicate the rest of my life to saving animals. It's about the very first founding animals that came to the Gentle Barn, how they taught me everything that I know. It's about my love story with Jay coming in as a volunteer and how we got to know each other and save animals together. It's about all the challenges of running a nonprofit, raising money. It's about how we almost went under and the angel that came to us to urge us to move forward, and how we kind of grew into a national organization.
I was reading that people can actually buy virtual cow hugs, like as a Valentine's gift. So if the people don't live near the Gentle Barn, they can still get like cow hugs for their friends.
Yes. And so I believe that cow hugs is literally for everyone. And I believe that we all need it so badly right now. So of course, some people can make their way to a Gentle Barn and get those cow hugs, but some people are too far away or don't have the wherewithal to get there. And so, yes, you can share the cow hugging experience and support the Gentle Barn at the same time by sending your loved ones for Valentine's Day a virtual cow hug. And we have 3 different cows to choose from, 1 from each location. They're beautiful pictures of these cows. And you can send your loved one a virtual cow hug and make them feel good.
Aw, love it. And some of the goodies off your site, like the vegan chocolates and stuff, let's really do it up. That's what I'm saying. I take a virtual cow hug, but I also eat me some vegan chocolate. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, the chocolate's so good.
So can people who are traveling, they could make an appointment to stop by, or they could come during your open house hours or something?
Yeah, all they have to do is go to the website, gentlebarn.org, click on visit. All 3 states will come up. They could pick their state, pick their experience, whether it's a private tour, coming on a Sunday, or booking a cow hug therapy session. And then the magic happens.
In St. Louis, do you just recreate the escape? Like you just let them go back out into the street? And run with them?
You're like, oh no, they got out again.
No.
Not that theatrical. No.
Seems like it'd be fun, like an escape room with cows.
In one of your most popular videos on YouTube, there was a video of a mommy cow that had been rescued, but they didn't bother to tell you when you rescued her that she had a calf. And the calf was still, like feeding and everything. And so she's just crying all night. And you're like, what? But why though? How do you convince the people who gave you the cow in the first place or let you take her to then give you the calf? Because you did, and they were reunited, and it's an amazing video. So go check that out on the YouTube for Gentle Barn. But how? What if they don't want to give you the calf? Like, how does it work?
It's a great story. So first of all, I did a whole TED talk about that cow's story and the reunion and what happened later. So go check it out. If you go to TED Talk and put in Ellie Laks, my TED talk will come up. It's an amazing story. The video that you're referencing on the Gentle Barn YouTube channel is called Karma's Reunion, and it's an amazing story. So she's crying all night, can't figure out why. Finally, in the morning, she's dripping milk, and I realize, oh my God, we're so silly. She is crying because she has a baby. I told my husband, Jay, that she's crying because she had a baby, and the guy probably hid the baby from us from the rescue situation. Jay went over there, and the guy was literally on his way to take the baby to sell him to someone for Christmas dinner. And he was still there because his truck had broken down. And so Jay saw what was happening with the truck and told the guy, I'm going to make a deal with you. I'm going to fix your truck. You're going to give me the baby. And the guy said, we've been fiddling with the truck for 3 hours. How could you possibly know what's wrong with the truck? And Jay said, it doesn't matter. I'm going to fix your truck. You're going to give me the baby. And they shook on it. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but sometimes when a truck is parked on a hill, it can get stuck back in its gears. So all Jay did was pull the truck 3 feet up the hill, unstick the gears, and the truck was fine. And the guy was so frustrated, but honored the handshake and gave him the baby.
Wow. And the poor baby, I mean, I didn't realize how stressful it would be for the baby to be separated from the mother, but the baby faints. It's like, oh my God.
So we experienced the heartache of this poor mom screaming for her baby for 12 hours. But meanwhile, the baby, who 1 minute has his mom, is nursing and feels all is right with the world, the next minute he's tied up in the back of a pickup truck alone for 12 hours. He thought he was going to die. And so when he rounded the corner and saw his mom, he was flooded with so much relief that he literally passed out. And she revived him. She licked him and mooed to him and nudged him gently. And she revived him to stand back up on his feet. She licked him all over to tell him it was okay. And then he nursed.
Wow. So you can check that out look up Ellie Laks's TED Talk. You'll get the TED version, or go to the YouTube and you get the sort of really unfiltered version of it as well. It's really worth it. By the way, people, you have to think about one other thing too. These, dairy cows are dairy or beef, but like dairy cows run from 1,000 to 3,500 in the US, depending on where you find them, sometimes a little bit more. So when these rescues are coming, there's also a financial piece to it as well. Like whether or not the person's being compensated to get rid of that cow or to allow the cow to be taken, they're making a choice that takes money away in some form or fashion to them. So it's what Ellie's negotiating isn't just, hey, your cow looks sad, can I have it? So that's important to point out to the story as well for the Gentle Barn. Thanks, Francis. Hey, so we're at this part of the show where we do a few things that need to get done before we get ourselves out of here. So why don't I start doing that? One of them.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
There are so many people who could get this one today, but I haven't stopped thinking about a peacock. I couldn't stop thinking about a peacock chasing Chloe around. So Chloe, you're the person of the day today.
And because Chloe's Scottish, it's like just an added element to think about.
Yeah, peacock in Scotland, that isn't even real.
Yeah.
But,
Be fun.
But on behalf of peacocks, I have to say that we had one peacock that was a little gnarly, but we have a peacock named Tivoli, and he is the sweetest, gentlest creature on earth. So I don't want to give peacocks a bad rap. They're all individuals just like us. And Chloe, I would like to invite you to come to the Los Angeles Gentle Barn and meet Tivoli, because maybe we can heal your entire childhood by meeting a nice peacock that will not chase you.
Chloe, come
to LA. We'll meet you there. All right, now we are at the part of the show that Ellie prepared the most for, which is the backpack question. We asked the question, what goes in your backpack? And we're looking for one item or two items or something physical, like a muck shovel, something metaphorical, like a plan to hug every week.
Like kindness.
But you really did your homework. I was going to say, Kerry,
Ellie's
what's a good example of something physical you could add?
Extra set of teeth. That's how Ellie packed like the whole backpack.
Right. So what did you put in your backpack? Now we have to know. Like, we can't limit you to one. What did you do?
I had this entire list of stuff. I mean, I was going to have a very full backpack to talk about with you.
I'm ready to hear it. What do you got?
Okay, well, so my entire life is about healing and saving others, right? We rescue animals that have nowhere else to go. We heal them physically and emotionally. And then we partner with the animals to heal people that need hope. And so when you dedicate your whole entire life for being there for others, then sometimes when you falter, who's going to be there for you? So I think the first thing that needs to go into my backpack is a list of the people that I can call on when I'm knocked down on my knees. Who are the people that will strengthen me, give me hope, heal me, and lift me up? Because when I encounter compassion fatigue, I have to have that list handy of people that I can call to that can keep me going so that I can keep doing this work for many, many more years.
Compassion fatigue.
I like it. That's very true. I mean, you have to put your own mask on, or you can really get sunk under. So that's big.
Chris, you've got this like gauzy filter now because the way the lights changing.
Here comes the sun.
Like a 1970s music video.
It's all right. Well, so I do have to tell you this. My aunt and uncle ran horse stables for the entirety of the time I knew them in my life. Dressage horses. So those like little boop, 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 prancy ones. And my grandmother would go out there and try to do chores every now and again, try to help out. Totally true story though. My grandmother around animals there's some kind of weird psychic thing where they want to poop on her more than any other human alive. And I'll tell you, for example, with this particular Appaloosa named Anne.
Way to turn the table.